Two men walk along the Whitehall corridors. They enter a large room. Inside sits the cabinet. The men walk up to the Prime Minister and say, "It's time. Enact Project Nightshade." Project Nightshade. The depopulation of the United Kingdom and the implantation of the slaves that remain after the cull. The Prime Minister picks up the phone and says, "Okay, Alpha Priority Order 1, enact Project Nightshade." The Home Secretary says with a smile, "Soon we shall be liberated from these damn paupers." The plan, the forced implantation and cull of the British people, had begun.
"70 million souls oblivious to what's above, 1,000 suited foes, and for us not a resistor in sight. The plan is so bright that no one is inside when the Black Hawks are unleashed upon our own people's might. There's too many people on this world, according to the other side. 500 million is what they want, but 500 million is doomed for Earth. They implant the police, they create the death squads, they stop the food supply and ready their forces. For the people must go, for the rich to thrive. They need us not. What technology wrought, they deceive and manipulate. They hide their intent, and the masses sleep tight with but a few souls away. For the police it is doom, for they are the ones chosen by might to wage their own fight against the people our kin. But death is a sin when it's meant for your kin. So there's nothing to do but find what's taboo. And when you wake up, you'll be dead in a box. You'll be dead in a box.
The police were the first to get Nightshade. It was always the plan. The police will be death squads, forced to do sin. For that is the way of the establishment few. The politicians gathered in the bunkers and waited for doom. For the tale they weave is as sick as a sin.
The chiefs gathered at dawn, their orders known to none, for their orders are now for the doom of the law. When the law corrupts and also perverts, what do we do in return but sit on our bums while our country does burn? The orders were sent down, for the time had come, for the dark droids had known that this day would whence come. For the political few, it was too late to do boo, for the death squads had a new orders anew. The chiefs do not care for the following of law, for they are the ones who are untouchable by state. chosen by few and serving the many. The chiefs are now traitors to their kind and their kin. The orders were sent down, for the time had come, for the dark dreams had known that this day would whence come. For the political few, it was too late to do boo, for the death squads had a new orders anew. The police were implanted at the training camps already, part of the plan for the killing of Britain. The orders were carried out with justice, now dead as were the people, now were the expendable bed. The orders were sent down, for the time had come, for the dark dreams had known that this day would whence come. For the political few, it was too late to do boo, for the death squads had a new orders anew. Now the orders were carried out by the police unabated, as Nightshade was no game, as everyone knew who waited. That device had put everyone in the establishment to sleep, a threat to the planet if Nightshade was rolled out, as no sleeping army can fight back if they're hacked. So the aliens will take back what their power could not, and damn our whole earth to an implanted alien few. The MP stopped the food and then sent out the police, for Britain had too many of her people not dead. A few was what they wanted, a few was what they'd get, for if the people fought back, then the few would be dead. For if the people fought back, then the few would be dead.
The government's orders to stop the food convoys throughout Britain caused chaos in most cities, but some had a community where people helped one another out. Glasgow was one such city, her people already awake thanks to whistles already blown, now prepared for the death squads to head north. Her streets were fortified, as were the surrounding villages. The orders from the government was carried out by the police. 1 week after the food stopped, the implanted police were sent out to the cities, towns, and villages of southern Britain. They would deal with the north later. In the Southlands, the police herded the survivors of the chaos into makeshift death camps where the selected were taken away to be implanted and the rest were given a lethal injection. The South was in chaos, and now the government targeted the northern cities, with Glasgow in particular, a target of need. Before they took the city, they had to take a fortress town southeast of Glasgow.
With the cities in chaos, the police with their orders came crashing out of their holding stations. Like lions unleashed, they stormed into the cities. With death on their faces, they helped cull the people. Though some had survived the initial call, they hid, they fought, and they ran for their lives. And what they got was no resistance in sight, for only one city had read all of the signs and prepared all her people for her people and Glasgow. Near Glasgow, the police took a village so light and swept it clean as they killed all the blight, and readied for Glasgow, so close to its doom. In Glasgow, in Glasgow, the gangs had united and armed all the people who now were enlightened. They now readied for war, as the police already known had long been implanted with nightshade the disease. The stage was set for a battle that's necessary, as people must know that death is the issue. Implanted is death, so surrender is suicide. So no one in Glasgow would give up this fight.
When the food supplies stopped, the gangs knew they had to arm and warn the people. Then they would fortify the city and surroundings and ready for the coming battle. They spent days fortifying streets with burnt-out vans and buses. They created choke points and traps. Every trick learned in military training or on the streets was utilized as Glaswegians built the citadel, a fortress designed to defend and repel the Borg death squads. Glasgow became the citadel.
When they stopped the food convoys, we knew they were coming. So we prepared our families and friends and strangers alike to defend our people and way of life. To the streets we took, our people united. All differences set aside for the common foe that frightens, with guns and knives, sticks and stones, ready to defend our very homes. If they take this city, the North will fall. So we make our stand where the mighty shall quake. Glasgow is known as fierce and friendly, but tonight Glasgow is now known as revolutionary. Sectarianism, Glasgow's pain was forgotten at last, as everyone united as one family of clans. The North would not fall if Glasgow stood tall. Then we can think of liberation for one and for all. So the citadel was born, and into legend she went. Glasgow, the citadel, fortress of might. What is your fate as the children sleep tight? To fight or die as one come and unite.
police death squads gathered in numbers outside of Glasgow. The people in the city knew they were there and waited for the fight. Finally, the orders came through. Glasgow was to be incinerated and wiped out. The Borg police officers reluctantly boarded the vans and headed for Glasgow.
The Citadel had her scouts in place. They saw the warning embrace. The police were coming now in numbers not seen since the miners' strike. The people had ready the defenses and war was now afoot. Now the battle commenced at the outskirts of town. The people put up a resistance, but the enemy was too many. The people retreated back to pre-range points of the city. For the defense of Glasgow was just begun. The death squads charged deeper into Glasgow, killing the old and infirm who had not time to retreat. The people saved many, but not all were gotten, though their names would be remembered as the martyrs of the North. The fighting raged on into the night, with many a death blow on either side. But the people were putting up a firm defense, and the Borg just couldn't get into their stride. At last the tide turned, the battle near through, as exhaustion and casualties bled the Borg squads deep. And the people charged back with the help of the gangs, as everyone united for the defense of the realm. Finally the pivotal point came, when the tide of war turned in the people's favor. The clans forced the police back out of the city. They fled like rats with their tails behind their legs. The culling of Glasgow was never going to happen, not when the people had united under the Citadel. The battler was over, the hard work was done. With the city in ruins now, the rebuilding had to be done. The North was secure, but the North was not safe. For if the Borg regrouped, the people would lose faith. So the High Command knew now what they had to do: liberate the South like the folk of the North. They'd have to head south to extinguish the threat. For if justice prevails, then the guilty will be judged.